I've been getting a lot of emails lately from people who are in a supporting role, whether that is a mother who has a child struggling with mental health issues, or a spouse who's trying to support their husband, anybody really. And I thought, who better to ask than my best friend, my wife, Tanya.
So today, I usually don't talk about this sort of thing because I like to keep things pretty private, but so many people deal with this exact same thing. And if sharing what we do, the things that work, the things that don't work between us, if by sharing that helps even one person, then I am absolutely willing to get real and just lay it all out there. So, well, not all of it, but some of it.
I feel nervous. I feel a little vulnerable. We've never done this before, so.
This is where you see the real Allan. No, just kidding. So, we can start with maybe your journey.
Yeah, I mean, I was always very transparent with my struggles with mental illness, even right when we first met, which was over 10 years ago. And the hard part for me is that I have to take someone that I love, someone really close to me, with me when I hit my lows. And I think that's where you often perhaps feel those feelings of helplessness.
Which is what a lot of people feel. And it is a journey. It goes up and it goes down, and now we've learned that when it goes down, it's gonna come back up. But there are certain steps that we need to take for it to get back up, maybe a little bit sooner than it would if we don't take these certain steps. And we'll talk about what we do to maybe help you. But I think the most important thing for me that I've learned is that when Allan's going through a down dip, we both need to take care of our needs, so that when we come back up, we can come back up together instead of apart. So this is for all of those supporters who find themselves a little lost in this journey of somebody else and who want to control something, because I'm a control freak. I'll just readily admit that. I would like to control all of this and just make him better. That's what I do. I'm mom. I fix everything. Everything. So, but I can't fix him. Nor should I fix him. This is his walk, and I'm taking my walk. And we can come back together in it, during it, and if not right during it, we can help each other, but then we can come back together after. So
I think one of the things that you've helped me to become a better communicator. I think that you often see the signs in me before I even know that I'm starting to go down.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. I'm super sensitive to energy, so when Allan comes into the house, like, we don't fight. We're pretty lucky that way, is that we don't bicker, we don't argue. I don't get angry with him. He's a great guy. So
you're pretty good too.
Aw, thanks. So when he comes into the house and I, no lie, I will just feel angry. And it's not good. I just feel angry. And I notice, this is about being self-aware too, right? So I notice that I'm angry. And so that anger is my cue that his energy is a little bit off. His energy is a little bit different than what the normal Al is. So when he's starting to dip down, he puts out a different maybe frequency, or I can just pick up on it. So and another cue is his eyes are different. He has less patience, he's snippy, and he's not normally snippy. So he gets snippy, his his eyes look different to me. And I don't know how else to explain that. But this is where communication comes in.
Yeah, because, I mean, initially, I come home and then I see that you're angry at me, and...
Oh, we would downward spiral at that point because, it
Yeah.
just didn't work. My anger towards him was like a train wreck. 'Cause
Yeah,
then
I'll
we're
either
doing
go
this.
left or right. I'll get angry back, which obviously just adds fuel to the fire, or I just get lower and lower because I don't know why you're angry at me. And it took us
And
a
I
while.
don't even know why I'm angry with him.
Yeah, it took us a while to figure out the why.
And so even the communication. So if he comes home, like if I'm noticing that his energy's going a little off, first I'll just recognize it for myself so that I'm not maybe picking at him so much because, you feel frustrated, you feel angry. Well, he's doing everything wrong. Then he's putting my cup in the wrong place. He's tiny little things that don't matter. So it's important. I have to try to keep myself in check because I realize this is not his fault. This is just, he's just going down and I need to just check myself. So, and so if it goes on for a couple days and he gets down a little more and I'm noticing that he is off, how I ask him is tricky because if I no, that's not true. It's not how I ask, it's how you respond. And we've learned to get better at this because if I would say, how's your head? That's my cue. That's how I say, how's your head? Not the outside, the inside.
And I know what that means now. I mean, when you ask the question, I know exactly what you're going for.
And before, it used to be defensive. Well, there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with you. And then we would do this, right? So, but now you're much more patient with that question. Oh, one thing that helps in my communication to you is if I say, if there's something, maybe Allan's being snippy or something, if he's down, and if I say, I know that you don't mean to do this, but here's how this made me feel. It's much better.
Yeah, because the compound, the problem is that I struggle with shame. I struggle with shame so much. I always feel like I've done something wrong. And when you segue with that, it really helps put my wall down. And on the flip side, I've also learned how to communicate when I'm struggling. So if I even just say, I'm feeling a little sensitive today, can you try just to be a little kinder with your words, and your energy just drops immediately, and you just come and give me a big hug.
This is huge. This is huge because this is something that we've learned. We've had to go through all of this in a different way to get to this place. So for us to be able to talk about what's going on without feelings of defensiveness, insecurities, anger, frustration is amazing because then we know where we're at and it's like, okay, he can then at that point work on what he needs to work on, and I can make some suggestions to him because he doesn't always see that when he's in the midst of it. So it's just, and from my role, I guess it's, I've learned the importance of being gentle. So I am a strong, independent woman. He calls me tenacious sometimes, but
Tenacious.
I don't like that.
Tenacious T.
But I don't like that word in a nice way. But this is not the time for me to take charge and let's get you back to how you are and all that. This is the time for me to just be gentle and to just be sensitive to what's going on, but also to bring attention to it because he doesn't notice.
Mm-hmm.
So our first step is bringing attention to it, because often the partner, the mother, the friend, the close person in that person's life is the one to notice first. So first we bring attention to it, and then what do we do?
Well, you give me ideas around, you kind of ask, what are you going to do about it? And this is what's, I guess, I find really ironic. I am perceived as somewhat of an expert in the field of mental health, and it's this double-edged sword where how is it that I can't even recognize sometimes when I myself am slipping, and then I'm not even the one to be able to just access the things that I know will help. And so that's where I just feel so blessed to have someone like you who, you know what has worked for me in that trial and error, over 10 years. But you help give me the suggestions. Did you call Bernie for Reiki? Because Reiki is one thing that has been really beneficial for me. Have I just gone outside? You encourage me to get whatever's in my head out, whether that's through writing or talking. But I think that, you are very gentle, but I think what has actually helped me a lot is that you also don't take shit. Right? Because if I push too far, if I get snippety, or even for me, should I get into that woe is me, the V on my forehead, the victim mentality, you're pretty good like it's not like, give me a wake up call, but you kind of, hey,
for sure.
What are you doing about it?
There's a balance. There's definitely a balance between the time to be gentle and the time to be like, okay, so what are you gonna do? I am such a firm believer in, actually, before I start this, I think I would just like to say, this is what works for us, and this might not work for everybody, but I would like to say ahead of time, because I don't want people to say, oh, she's too harsh, or she's not very nice to him, or anything like that. We are all individual people who deal with things, who have different personalities and different situations, and everything's different, right? So take what you will, take little pieces maybe. If there's something that we say that can help, that's great. But don't judge us if you don't agree, because that's important, because but anyway, so I'm so big on self-value and self-love. And so I found that going through this process, I found myself getting really lost in Allan's journey. So you forget a little bit of yourself. And I know that some of those women who are maybe mothers and who, or wives, and I don't mean to categorize, there's lots of people who can relate to this, but you get a little lost in the journey of your loved one. So if they go down, what happens to you? You go right down with them. If they're happy, you're happy. If they're good, you're good. If they're not, you're not. So I had to go through this roller coaster of up and down and figure out how to find my happy while I'm going up and down, because I'm here to live my life and he's here to live his. When I signed up for this, I signed up to support, but I didn't sign up to do his path. I signed up to do mine. So I do the best I can to help him, and to be gentle when I need to be gentle, to push when I need to push, and to say, I think you're having a pity party. Maybe I don't say that.
In a roundabout way,
Yeah,
and I can be defensive around that, because that doesn't feel good, but then when I kind of take my time, I realize that you're right, and I value that about you.
Oh, he's amazing. If I say, I just have to say this, because if
Tell me more.
if I say, well, you're being really defensive, why you got to get all defensive, and it turns into a big thing, and then he comes back and he realizes, he does some thinking, and he realizes, and he comes back and he's like, yeah, I guess I'm defensive sometimes, and it's like, oh.
That only took 9 years.
But we got it now.
Got it. Yeah.
So let's go back to the signs. So you recognize the signs. I can recognize it first. But when he is down, he often will forget these things. Like Al said, we have found that alternative healing methods, Reiki has been amazing to balance Allan out. And so if he's down, the first thing that we've found that helps him is to go for Reiki or do something to balance out his energy. So I will say, so this is important. I do not call to make him an appointment for Reiki. I do not arrange that for him. I do not, like, I will make a suggestion. I'll say, hey, did you call Bernie? Maybe it's a good time to call Bernie. And he'll either be like, nope. And then he'll wait a few more days. But he'll do it himself. So I make a suggestion and then I let it go because now it's out of mine. And so I try to suggest what the things that he needs. So, and like Al said, burning stuff in the fire, that's when he's got thoughts in his head. So if I recognize that he's having dreams about certain things, or if he's got focusing too much on one thing that's causing him some struggle, I'll be like, write that shit down, burn it, get it out somehow. And usually your answer's like, nah. But then I'll see him at the fire later and I'll be like, yes.
Yeah, that was a couple days ago.
It was a couple days ago. So
I'm being distracted with my ADD because I think my belly's showing a bit. See my button
Don't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, you better.
Maybe we'll edit that out.
Maybe he needs to hold
I'm
the
ready.
dog. So suggestions. What else what else do we suggest, or what do you do to get back on track?
I think the biggest thing for me, and probably for you too, is we know that this too shall pass.
Yeah. And sometimes that reminder is good for him too.
Yeah. Even if it lasts a couple days, I know that this isn't forever. And that has also assisted me with never acting on suicide, because that was always a thought that was there. And we have seen this, having lost my best friend to suicide, we walked through that, and we dealt with a lot that year.
This is something that's all too familiar with us, so we may we'll just go there, and yeah, that is the biggest fear of a supporter of someone who has mental health issues, is that they're not going to come back home. And I did this when we lost Justin. This is going to be hard on me. When we lost Justin, I didn't know if Al was going to. And so we went through a period of time. I had a new baby. And it wasn't a couple days that he was out. He was gone he was not behind his eyes. And there was no suggesting. There was no Reiki. There was no nothing that helped him. No anything that helped him. And I remember the one time he wasn't home when he was supposed to be home, and this is always in the back of my head. It's like, okay, is he coming home today? So, and I remember called his mom, and I said, do you know where he is? Because today I'm worried, and I don't know if he's coming back. So we did that. I get it. I get it. So, and we got through it, but I tell you that is always in the back of my mind. That will always be in the back of my mind, because he will say, you know what, he says, I would never do that. Don't worry, even if I talk about it, I will never do that. But who knows that they're going to do that? Do you plan that a year in advance? I don't think you do. So how do I deal with that? Because we, even now, that was a long time ago, but we do that dance when we're down here, way down here. We do that.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we talk.
Yeah.
We talk about it. also, when you first met me, I was transparent with my struggles with addictions and with mental illness, and you said right away, if you're with me, then we're going to be moving forward. We're not going backwards. And you made it very clear that if I go to those old behaviors, then what we have is over. And I think some people would look at that and say, wow, that is way too harsh. That was my saving grace. I needed someone like you who is that strong, who has always helped me to move forward so that I don't slip back into those old behaviors.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 3 months sober when I moved in with you and the kids, and
He was really hot though. I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
this belly was not there. And I didn't have a job, and I had a lemon of a car, and I had student loans, and
I loved him.
I mean, even then, yeah, you saw something in me, obviously, that I probably didn't see in myself, and so we have a great foundation, and
So this is important though, because this is what I say about different personalities and different people find different things work. But this is me. We are moving forward. So we can dip down and we can come back up, but we're not getting in addictive behaviors, because this is a healthy house. This is a healthy marriage. And if you are fighting, I am beside you and I'm with you, and I will help you fight. I'll be there for you when you need me. I'm not going to be in there fighting with you, but I'll be right beside you when you're good, or not when you're good, but when you're ready for me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to say that person. I don't want to do the worry. Now he's drinking. Worry. He's gambling too. Oh, now maybe he's not coming home today. That kind of worry will absolutely destroy me.
you're very good about figuring out what's in your control and what's out of your control. And you have, from what I see, gotten to a place where you put your own needs first, and you know what you need to do to get grounded and to kind of let me go my way while still playing the supporting role.
That's a tricky balance, but you have to put yourself into the equation. And I talked about this a little bit before, but because you get so caught up in this road that they're walking that you forget to take care of yourself. And there is a way to be happy and do you while you're still supporting him while he does him, or your loved one. So yeah, I'm very strong-willed, and I always like to go worst case scenario in my head, and I don't know why I do that, but it helps me. So if he is really down, super down, and he says to me, just so you know, I would never do it, but those thoughts are in my head, and I'm like, well, that doesn't help me, but so that now that's in my head. But I'm like, okay, so in my head I say, what's going to happen if he does it? Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, and I'll be okay. So now I'm going to take that worry, I'm going to put it in a bubble, and I'm going to push it away, because that does not serve me. And now I'm going to work on my self-love, I'm going to work on what I need, I'm going to go get that Lush bubble bath. And I'm going to be like, I love myself, because you lose that. And you're not loving them if you can't even love yourself. So you work on yourself so that you can help them when they need some help too. And by helping, I mean like not overpowering, but like beside.
That'll do. Well, that was pretty good for our first...
no, I gotta say one more thing. We're not done. I wanted to say one more thing, and it has to do with this little thing on my lap. I don't know if you can see, but it's my little guy. There are times when this is something that helps me. So there are times when we're going through this up and down, and as a wife, I really want to feel that love all the time, right? Like, you want to be loved, you want to feel loved, and if they're down, you want to be like, oh, if you just love me, I can love you so much back during this time. But I've realized that when he's going through this, I need to love him, but it's not necessarily right here. It's right here, it's beside him, but I need to just wait. I need to just wait until he can...
Sorry, no, what does that have to do with the dog?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
This is ADD. Okay.
Wow, I was just waiting.
So the love. So he's not
Oh,
available.
you love the dog.
I'm loving... You just gave it away.
Sorry.
Didn't take his meds today. So, yeah. So, okay, now I got to get back on it. Anyways, yes. So the love, he's not available for that during those times. He is not available. So I can love myself. I can love lots of things. But one thing that I do to get my love is like this. Like, who doesn't love this? But get it from somewhere else. Like, or get it from meditating with spirit, or with friends, or with your children, or just find your love in another way during that period, because that also takes care of your heart, so that your heart doesn't become a rock, so that when he comes out of it, you are there, and it's not too long before you open up and you can do that again.
Yeah.
See?
We got there. So, this has been Tanya and Al. We've never done this before, so I don't know how we're supposed to end.
This is just
if you're still listening at this point after who knows how long,
then you deserve an award. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.